Friday, January 16th, 2026. Michael and Willow discuss what to tell the children, Drew and Nina continue to fight over Willow, and Gio and Emma discuss their future. Read the last GH recap. Emma and Gio had sex. Chase assured BLQ he's not cheating on her, and Britt won a kiss from Jason. Gio and Emma wake up smiling in her bed. After a kiss, they tell each other they have no regrets. They chat about how she's learned to live alone with her grandma gone, but she misses her. He promises that she will back soon. Then the three of them can have dinner with Sunny. Gio tells her what a great grandfather Sunny is and how he's easy to live with, but he needs to find somewhere to live. They wonder what he should do next. He thought music would be his life, and now he doesn't know. She announces she wants to be a vet. He thinks that's great. She promises they will find what's next for him together. Gio believes that. She's been there for him. She admits you never know how things will turn out. She thought they'd never be more than friends. They make out. In her cell, Anna is surprised that someone is administering treatment to her. It's Albrecht. Anna demands her own doctor, but Liesl says this is all she's getting. Devane is certain she wouldn't help these people. Liesl says he insisted. Anna declares that Faison is dead. Albrecht claims he can survive anything. He will never let you go, she says. She walks out and tells Pascal that Anna was convinced she's Albrecht. This pleases him. When Anna wakes up, she sees a cigar burning and backs away as Faison's voice comes over the intercom. Albrecht stops by GH and prods Britt to swoop in and grab Portia's position while she's on suspension. She wants to get them jerseys with Rocco's name on them so they can cheer him on at his games. Britt thinks that's a bad idea. No one in his family will want them there, so why add stress to his life? Albrecht follows her around, quizzing her about her texts with Rocco. Britt reminds her Lulu wants her to keep her distance. She's not going to force a relationship on him. Liesl says that Rocco exists because of them. She urges Britt not to make the mistakes she did. Albrecht is sad she didn't to be her mother when she needed it the most. They remember how they said goodbye when Britt died. Britt finally caves and agrees to help her cheer on Rocco at his hockey games. Trina and Kai go to Alexis's office to lecture Ir about justice. She admits she believes them about Willow being guilty. She looked into their story and it checked out, but it would be a violation of her duties as a lawyer to say anything. They speculate on what the verdict might be, and she urges them to wait until it comes in before deciding what to do next. Chase runs into Dante outside of Bobby's and assures him he would never destroy evidence. They discuss their own doubts about how far they went to protect the people they care about. Dante explains he's been going over the evidence again to see if he missed anything. Chase urges him to keep that up. Nina stops by Drew's to get her daughter. He informs her that Willow has gone for a walk. He's confused when she thanks him for helping her daughter, but she asks him to let her look after Willow from now on. She'd like her lawyers to deal with an appeal if there has to be one. He accuses her of wanting her own daughter convicted so she can save the day. They argue about his strategy. She thinks he's been unhinged and nearly destroyed everything. He insists he's the only one Willow can count on. Nina is sure that Alexis threw Willow's defense in jeopardy. Willow goes to the cafe to meet with Michael and assumes he has something bad planned. He asks her to focus on the kids now. They need to discuss what happens if she's found guilty. They discuss their difficult childhoods and how they want something different for their own children. He explains there are programs for mothers in prison that will guarantee them the chance to see their kids. He wants that for her. He also wants them to explain all of this to the kids together. She asks what happens if she's found not guilty. He makes it clear he won't allow his children near Drew. The courthouse calls. The jury has reached a verdict. Dante goes to the courtroom. Turner tells him she still suspects Chase of stealing the footage. He urges her to let internal affairs sort it out. Kai approaches Michael and tells him he didn't deserve any of what Drew said about him on the stand. Chase thanks Alexis for going to bat for Willow, confident she did it because she knows she's innocent. Nina and Drew continue to squabble about what's best for her daughter. The session starts and the verdict is handed in. She's found not guilty. Drew pounds his chest. Alexis throws her head back. General Hospital spoilers for Monday, January 19th reveal that Drew Cain will decide he'll stick with his end of the Willow-Cain bargain while Faison torments Anna Devane. Harrison Chase will also face a prison threat, so here's what GH fans can look forward to. Now that Willow has received a not guilty verdict, Alexis Davis will corner Drew and point out that she did her job. Since Alexis came through for Drew by scoring Willow's freedom, she'll expect Drew to come through for her too. Of course, Alexis will be talking about continued Scout Quartermain access, but Drew might have more hoops for her to jump through. It's possible Drew will make more demands and push Alexis to get Willow's kids back next. As for Trina Robinson, she'll tell Kai Taylor that maybe Willow going free isn't such a terrible thing after all. Trina will change her perspective and share why she now feels this way in Monday's GH episode. In the meantime, ADA Justine Turner will warn that Chase may be the one who ends up in prison thanks to his interference in Willow's case. Over with Sonny Corinthos, he'll make a promise to Michael Corinthos after hearing jury updates. Sonny will vow to make sure Michael doesn't go down for Drew's shooting following Willow's acquittal. In captivity, Anna will face more manipulation. Although Anna got the phlebotomy she needed, she's also receiving another type of treatment that's causing paranoia and hallucinations. Anna imagined Liesl Abrecht was playing nurse and now believes Caesar Faison is talking to her through the speaker system. The trouble will continue in Monday's show as Pascal keeps messing with Anna's head. Faison will tell Anna that she could never be rid of him, but it'll obviously just be Pascal pulling off a gaslighting plot. General Hospital spoilers say Anna will be terrified anyway due to whatever drug she's being given, so stick with us for all the alarming news ahead in this storyline. General Hospital spoilers hint that WSB director Ross Cullum may order Britt Westbourne to dump Jason Morgan. Will Jen Sidwell's ally deliver a fierce warning? It's clear that Britt is under serious pressure when it comes to the work she's expected to do on Caesar Faison's final project. Cullum definitely seems to value Britt's knowledge and family connection to Faison. However, there have been some challenges due to the move from the Five Poppies and all the recent lab drama with Professor Henry Hank Dalton. Sidwell and Cullum are ready for Britt to buckle down and get to work in the new lab on Spoon Island. Of course, Cullum may grow increasingly concerned with Britt's distractions. Between Britt's job as a doctor and this budding romance with Jason, Cullum may not think she's focused enough on the task at hand. That said, Cullum doesn't want to go to the extreme of making Britt disappear from the life she's rebuilt. It'd draw too much attention considering Britt's high-profile return from the grave. Nevertheless, Cullum could toss some serious warnings around to make sure Britt falls in line. Perhaps Cullum will indeed warn Britt that she could essentially become a Spoon Island captive if she doesn't cooperate. Then again, Cullum might threaten to make Jason vanish instead if Britt doesn't break things off with him. Maybe Cullen will insist it'll be better for everyone if Britt dumps Jason and concentrates on their project. GH 2026 preview spoilers already pointed to Sidwell's criminal partner causing a hurdle for Britt and Jason's budding relationship. Cullum may be a bit obsessed with Britt on top of everything else and work to shut down her Jason connection. Regardless, Cullum is apparently the mysterious C behind the note with Britt's medication package. Director Cullum may remind Britt that her meds are still at stake here while pushing her to end things with Jason ASAP. General Hospital spoilers say Cullum has some tense scenes coming up with Britt and will deliver some bad news, so stay tuned for updates on all the drama. General Hospital spoilers hint that Sasha Gilmore Corbin may return for a Michael Corinthos and Jacinda Bracken love triangle. Will Daisy Gilmore's mom want a united family when she finally comes home to Port Charles? YH fans know Sasha was concerned for the safety of her baby girl after multiple stalker incidents, so she left PC with Daisy. Although Michael didn't try to stand in the way, it broke his heart to watch Sasha and Daisy go. Of course, that stalker mess was Willow-Cain's fault. Willow's sneaky criminal behavior cost Michael the chance to be near his youngest daughter, so she deserves to pay for that at some point. Regardless, there may come a time when Sasha chooses to settle down with Daisy in Port Charles again. Sasha may decide the danger has passed and that she's ready to make PC her home once more. GH writers are currently working on a story to air later in 2026 that'll give Robert Scorpio a proper send-off. Sasha's loved ones might convince her to stick around after Robert's funeral and lean on them for support. Michael would be thrilled over Sasha staying in town with Daisy, but how would that affect his romance with Jacinda? It's clear that Jacinda and Michael have a real spark that could lead to a much deeper relationship. Just when Michael's thinking he might live happily ever after with Jacinda, that's when Sasha and Daisy could re-enter the picture. It could force Michael to rethink things a bit, especially if familiar feelings for Sasha bubble back up. Michael could start mulling over the idea of building a united family with Sasha, Daisy, Wiley Corinthos, and Amelia Corinthos down the road. Jacinda could find herself worried that she can't compete with the mother of Michael's child and the history they share. Nevertheless, Michael could be torn about his romantic path forward. Giving up Jacinda wouldn't be an easy decision for Michael, but another part of him might long for Sasha and a new chapter. If Sasha changes her mind about raising Daisy alongside Michael, that could be a game changer and lead to their reunion. General Hospital spoilers for Friday, January 16th reveal that the jury will be back with Willow Kane's verdict, while Nina Reeves warns Drew Kane and Alexis Davis doubles down on her decision. First, on Friday's GH episode, Dante Falconeri will question Harrison Chase about how far he'd go to protect Willow. Chase may reiterate that he wouldn't tamper with evidence and push Dante to focus his investigation elsewhere. Over with Britt Westbourne, she'll have a different perspective in a conversation with Liesl Obrecht. Maybe we should show him that by doing the opposite, Britt tells Obrecht in Friday's preview video. Whether this is about Rocco Falconeri, Nathan West, or someone else, Britt will think she knows best when it comes to handling the situation. As Giovanni Gio Palmieri and Emma Scorpio Drake bask in the afterglow of their first time together, he'll wonder if she's having any second thoughts. Emma will no doubt assure Gio that she doesn't have any regrets and will perhaps admit that was even better than she imagined. In Alexis's office, she'll get another visit from Kai Taylor and Trina Robinson as they confront her about defending Willow during closing arguments like nothing had changed. Alexis got evidence that pointed to Willow's guilt, but she stood her ground when it came to Willow's defense in the end. Trina will have a big problem with Willow potentially getting away with everything and will ask how that's justice. However, Alexis will double down on her course of action and insist it's what she had to do. This was the only path to keeping Scout Quartermain access and trying to protect her. As for Nina, she'll toss some threats around during a confrontation with Drew. Since Drew hasn't been doing Willow any favors when it comes to her custody case, Nina will insist it's time to do it her way. Willow will inevitably deal with some anxiety as she awaits the verdict on Friday's show. Once the jury is in, Willow will get updates on her phone and realize the big moment is almost here. While Willow heads back to court and prepares to learn her fate, Anna Devane will get a shock elsewhere. Perhaps Anna will wake up in a brand new location and try to make sense of what's happening to her. General Hospital spoilers say Anna will have more problems to contend with, so stay tuned for all the stunning news to come. General Hospital spoilers and updates tease Anna Devane will be stunned. Since Valentine Cassadine was caught snooping around Windermere, will he be thrown in the cell with her? The castle may be large, but it seems the only cell where someone can be kept captive is the one that Anna is in. Jen Sidwell had wanted Valentine to partner with him, but that doesn't mean he wants him snooping around the castle, and Ava Jerome ratted him out. If Valentine was snooping, then he must have been snooping for some reason that Jens wouldn't approve of. So how can he know if Valentine could be trusted? Sidwell obviously knows of him, but does he really know Valentine in spite of them both having been mercenaries in the past and possibly have come across each other? The reason Sidwell wanted Valentine to partner with him is because of his past working closely with Caesar Fasson. Valentine had helped work on the Chimera project and had practically raised Peter August, aka Heinrich Faison. Sidwell knows that Valentine knows a lot about Fason's last project, the one that Sidwell and Ross Cullum are trying to get finished. Jack Brennan knows that the WSB wants it to use as a WSB weapon, but he may not be entirely in the loop about Cullum's secret alliance with Sidwell. If he was, he wouldn't have been trying to get intel about it from Valentine, which Valentine wouldn't give him. And if Valentine wouldn't spill to Brennan, he sure isn't going to spill to Sidwell. He knows that the technology is dangerous, involving cold fusion. The question is, now that Valentine was seen by Ava at Windermere, can he, and more importantly, will he, return to the castle? He just might. After Anna tackled Pascal and Cullum disabled her, Cullum was going to dispose of Anna so they could bring Britt Westbourne to work in the Windermere lab. But since Brennan thinks the WSB lost Anna, he may suggest that Valentine can find her as a way to lure Valentine into custody, the way he was going to use Charlotte Cassadine. Cullum is both his boss and Sidwell's, so he may suggest it to Cullum. That means, since Valentine's been snooping around Windermere, if he's fed the breadcrumb that they've lost Anna, he'll suspect she's being held in the castle. And Anna is Valentine's other weakness, in addition to Charlotte, and she'll be stunned to find Valentine being thrown in the cell with her. Be sure to catch up on everything happening with GH right now. Come back here often for General Hospital spoilers, news, and updates. General Hospital spoilers hint that Willow Kane may admit the shooter truth to Nina Reeves. Will Willow shock her mom with the real story? Alexis Davis was conflicted after finding out Willow was actually guilty, but she finished with a strong summation despite her concerns. Once closing arguments were over, Willow's fate was in the hands of the jury. Since Alexis offered up reasonable doubt in the form of Michael Corinthos as an alternative suspect, it looks like Willow's going to get away with shooting Drew Kane twice. However, Willow's acquittal won't be the end of all this. Guir spoilers say some stressful situations could still be brewing, especially if Drew starts to remember what really happened. Willow may find herself stressed over custody issues and the investigation into Michael's actions too. The more trouble Michael lands in, the more backlash Willow may face from the people who care about him. In other words, Willow will still find herself at the center of swirling suspicions and accusations even after she's acquitted. If the pressure finally gets to Willow, she may wind up spilling more than she planned to Nina. Willow's innocent act could crumble in front of her inquisitive mother, so let's consider how that might play out. At some point, Nina could eavesdrop on Trina Robinson recapping things with Kai Taylor or giving Portia Robinson the scoop on Willow's guilt. Then again, Alexis might be the one to tip Nina off without offering up the full story. No matter how it all goes down, Nina may find herself worried that Willow is actually guilty of the crime she was acquitted of. If Nina puts Willow through a grilling session, all this might become too much for Willow. Although Willow has done a good job with her innocent charade lately, it could fall apart and lead to Willow coming clean. Nina may find herself deeply dismayed over Willow's guilt and realize her daughter could still be in serious trouble. Although Willow can't be prosecuted for the same crime again due to double jeopardy, there are other ways Willow could face consequences. Nina may ultimately worry that Drew's memory could come rushing back and leave Willow facing her husband's fierce revenge. This could also affect the custody case and open the door to plenty more drama. Whatever the case, Nina may pry a confession out of Willow and reel over her daughter firing at Drew that night. In the January 15th episode of General Hospital, the WSB took control of Anna's disappearance by faking her communications and quietly managing what the outside world was allowed to believe, shifting power away from the people who care about her and toward the institution that now controls her silence. Brennan learns that the messages sent in Anna's name were not real and that her disappearance was not voluntary in the way it had been framed. The WSB brought Anna back because of her knowledge of Faison, then crafted a version of events designed to calm suspicion and prevent interference. That version included false communications to Emma, selective disclosure to Brennan, and a carefully controlled explanation that made Anna's absence feel contained and routine rather than alarming. By the time Brennan understood what was happening, the structure was already in place and functioning. Brennan pushed back by refusing to answer Cullum's questions about Spoon Island and Faison's operation, signaling that he was no longer willing to operate entirely on the agency's terms. That resistance didn't stop the process, but it made the power imbalance unmistakable. This storyline isn't about where Anna is, it's about who gets to define what her disappearance means. By controlling Anna's silence, the The WSB controls the emotional response of everyone connected to her, deciding who worries, who waits, and who is allowed to act. That kind of control turns Anna from a person into a variable and her absence into a tool. For Brennan, this represents a loss of autonomy rather than a simple setback. He isn't choosing how to respond to Anna's disappearance. He's reacting inside a frame the WSB has already built. Brennan now understands that acting outside the WSB's narrative carries consequences, even if those consequences are quiet and procedural. His instinct to protect Anna places him in tension with the very organization that currently holds her fate. General Hospital's Alexis was horrified to realize that her client, Willow, was, in fact, guilty of shooting Drew. We're not sure why. Everyone in Port Charles is a criminal, including Alexis, all of her relatives, her baby daddies, and her children. She asked Dan how she could possibly defend someone who'd actually done what they were accused of. Luckily, Diane reminded Alexis of what a defense attorney's job is. But to us, Lexis's dilemma felt very familiar. Though she didn't quite go in the same direction as the last ABC legal eagle. Up until the moment when she gave her closing argument to the jury, we were afraid Alexis would go in the same direction as Nora on One Life to Live, who, upon coming to the conclusion that Todd and his cronies, whom she was defending on charges of gang rape, did indeed commit the crime, gave a summation which incriminated her clients. Nora should have lost her law license for that, but Smith won a Daytime Emmy for Outstanding Lead Actress. In the book, Super Soap Scenes, a time capsule of daytime drama's greatest moments, the late O.L. Till head writer Michael Malone recalled his first breakout hit story. It was one of the first stories I told on One Life to Live. In it, Marty was a spoiled, rich, needy, and recklessly self-destructive young woman with a veneer of cynicism over a troubled core. When Andrew Carpenter, the young minister, rejected Marty's sexual advances, she retaliated by spreading the lie that he was sleeping with a teenaged boy named Billy Douglas. Marty's lies almost destroyed the minister, divided his church, and troubled the town. Josh Griffith and I named the story The Accusation. The Accusation led to the next story, one of the most challenging and controversial we did during my tenure on the show. Remembering the story, people call it Marty's Rape, or Marty and Todd. It was a graphic, honest, intensely emotional, extensively researched portrayal of the too often unreported crime of college rape, in this case, a gang rape by 3 fraternity men. The victim was Marty, a fellow student who already knew them, who had previously had sex with one of them, and who was intoxicated at the time of the rape. The message of the story was that none of these circumstances mitigate against the fact that rape is rape and rape is a major crime. The story has had a strong effect both on its creators and on its audience. The rape was instigated by Todd Manning, a character who had first arrived in story notes as frat boy number 1. Just like Marty, Todd was spoiled, rich, needy, and recklessly self-destructive, with a veneer of cynicism over a troubled core. Like her, Todd was a liar. But Marty was known to have lied about Andrew Carpenter and Billy Douglas. So when she cried rape, no one believed her, including Nora Gannon, the attorney who was defending the accused rapists because she believed them to be innocent. Susan Haskell, Roger Howarth, and Hilary Smith went on to win Emmys for their searing performances in this story. The writers were honored with an Emmy, but our Emmy belongs to the whole company. The community of serial drama is another pleasure of the genre to me. It takes a village of artists to create a soap opera. It's a daily collaboration among actors, designers, technicians, directors like Jill Mitwell, who so powerfully envisioned the rape episode, producers like Linda Gottlieb, who fought so hard for the integrity of the story. It is also a collaboration with the audience. Soap opera viewers care passionately about story, and they don't hesitate to let you know what they think.